The bull shark. You've been told your whole life that sharks live in the ocean, which makes the lake fine. And that's the most comforting, wrong thing anybody ever told you about water. One has been caught closer to Missouri than to any coastline. Bull sharks turn up 1,100 river miles up the Mississippi, and the International Shark Attack File credits them with 117 unprovoked attacks and 26 deaths. So, it's a shark, it's in your river, and it's one of the 3 worst alive. Cool. Most sharks are chemically locked to the sea, but this one's kidneys and rectal gland run the process backward, dumping salt and holding water while the salinity outside falls to nothing. Most people assume salt water is a wall. It never was. A shark in Illinois. Then one 2,300 miles up the Amazon. Then 1,100 miles from the Gulf. A longer commute than most people manage in a year. The ocean at least looks like it could kill you. A river you could throw a rock across doesn't. People swim hundreds of miles inland every summer without once thinking that the water they're standing in connects to the sea with nothing in between. The Goonch Catfish. In April of 1998, a 17-year-old named Dil Bahadur was pulled under the Kali River in front of his friend, and a 3-day search found nothing at all. There are no crocodiles in that stretch. Whatever took him had gills. 2 more vanished from the same 4-mile stretch over the next 9 years. In 2008, fishermen landed a goonch of about 6 feet and 160 pounds. A catfish as long as a grown adult is tall, heavier than most of the people who went missing, sitting in water shallow enough to stand up in. Scientists still can't say what changed there, and the leading idea is just that one very large individual learned where food came from. A goonch holds the river bottom with broad fins that clamp it down, and its teeth curve backward, so it never needs a powerful bite, only a grip and a downward roll. Somewhere along the line, nature looked at a catfish and decided what it needed was the holding strength of a car jack. The fish they pulled out was easily big enough. Nobody has ever been able to say whether it was the one that did it. The Ocellate River Stingray. It buries itself in warm, shallow sand exactly where people wade, wash clothes, and cross on foot. And you won't see it. That's the point. The barb going in isn't the part that puts people in the ground. Freshwater stingray injuries across South America are linked to as many as 8 deaths a year. The spine is a modified scale, serrated backwards so it tears on the way out, and its venom wrecks tissue instead of nerves. Wounds go necrotic, take months to close, and what actually kills is the infection that moves in afterward. 1 step. Then a serrated spine driven up through the top of your foot. Then 6 months of a hole that won't heal. Most people picture a stingray attacking somebody. It isn't attacking. It's being stood on. And it answers the only way a flat animal with no teeth can. A dinner plate with a switchblade taped to the back of it. It's the most purely defensive thing in the river, and it fills more hospital beds than anything in there that hunts. If what lives in water people assume is safe is your kind of thing, I make videos like this all the time, and subscribing really helps. Thanks. The Electric Eel. You're standing in warm, tea-colored water you can't see the bottom of, and every muscle you own is about to stop taking instructions from you. The famous number isn't the part that puts people on the riverbed. One of these produced a discharge of 860 volts, the highest ever measured from any living animal. There's at least 1 documented death, where the shock locked a man's muscles rigid and he drowned because he couldn't swim. Roughly 4/5 of this animal is battery. Thousands of flattened cells stacked in series, each producing a voltage so small it's almost funny. A wall outlet in your house runs 120 volts. A stun gun runs higher but delivers almost no current. This is 860 volts, released into water you're standing in. Despite the name, it isn't an eel. It's a knife fish, closer to catfish than to any eel, which is a naming mistake science has quietly declined to fix for 2 centuries. You can see the far bank the entire time. It's 40 feet away. With your arms locked up, it might as well be Kansas. It doesn't kill by electrocuting anybody. It kills by switching off your ability to swim while you're still completely awake. The red-bellied piranha. This is the fish everybody names first, which makes it the one most worth getting right. The scene in your head, the water boiling, the animal stripped to a skeleton, happened exactly once, and it was arranged in advance. In 1913, a stretch of river was netted off ahead of Theodore Roosevelt's expedition. The trapped fish were starved for days, and when the president arrived, a butchered cow was pushed in front of him. He wrote it up as normal behavior. It was a show, staged with all the scientific rigor of a magic trick. Real deaths do exist. A cluster in Paraguay in 2013 left 4 people dead, though in several documented incidents, the victim had already drowned before any fish arrived. Piranhas are mostly scavengers and fin nippers, and they school for protection rather than to hunt. Most people believe a school can strip a cow in under a minute, and that happened for one president in a fenced-off river using starved fish. The most feared fish in South America built its reputation on a single staged photo opportunity, and it still kills people anyway. Fear and body count almost never line up in freshwater. The Goliath Tigerfish. The Congo runs fast, brown, and completely opaque, so everything in it hunts by feel, including the one carrying 110 pounds of muscle behind its jaws. The teeth get all the attention, and the reason they work is behind them. It's a 5-foot fish whose 32 interlocking teeth slot into grooves in the opposite jaw, so the mouth closes flush, like a bear trap somebody actually engineered. Attacks in the Congo Basin are documented, including deep wounds and lost fingers. With no visibility, tigerfish work off low-frequency vibration along the lateral line, and the strike is one closing motion, shearing through tissue rather than gripping it. It lives across the Congo Basin. That's a river system draining an area larger than India. Almost none of it is clear enough to see a fish coming from more than a few inches away. The stories say man-eater. Turns out no fatal attack has ever been verified, while the maimings are documented in careful detail, which is somehow worse. Nature built a fish with teeth the size of a great white's and then hid it in coffee. It's the only freshwater fish on the planet carrying teeth that big, and it uses them where nobody has ever seen one coming. The Alligator Gar. It's the largest fish in North American freshwater. It has been swimming in roughly this shape for 100 million years, and people in 4 states eat it regularly. Nothing about the teeth has ever killed anybody. Something else on the same animal has no antidote anywhere on Earth. Alligator gar reach 8 feet, and the rod and reel record sits at 327 pounds. There are 0 confirmed fatal attacks on humans, ever. The roe is a different story, because gar eggs carry ichthyotoxin, a protein toxin that cooking does absolutely nothing to. 3 teaspoons, roughly 150 eggs, 1 hour to symptoms, and no antidote at any hospital on the planet, which is a sentence scientists have been strangely comfortable with for decades. The toxin protects the eggs from anything that would otherwise eat them. Heat won't pull the protein apart, so the pot on your stove is decoration. Despite the name, no gar has ever been confirmed to kill a person by biting one. The most dangerous thing about a fish that can swallow a duck whole is the part people scrape into a bowl and call caviar. The Arapaima. It has to surface for air every 5 to 20 minutes, which means that unlike almost everything else in this video, it's coming to you. Every death connected to this animal happened while it was trying to leave. Arapaima reach 10 feet and 440 pounds, breathing through a modified swim bladder that works as a lung. Their scales have been tested in a lab against piranha bites without failing. Nature saw a fish, added lungs, then bolted on body armor, apparently just to see if anyone would object. A cornered Arapaima launches, stationary to airborne with no wind up, and the deaths on record involve fishermen struck by that launch, knocked unconscious and drowned. A single scale the size of your palm, a body as long as the canoe you're sitting in, 440 pounds moving faster than you can turn your head. The tail is one slab of muscle sized for a standing start, a canoe-sized animal with a diving board for a tail. Turns out no Arapaima has ever been confirmed to attack a person on purpose. The bank is right there the whole time. That's the part nobody plans for. Nobody keeps account of people who drowned beside a fish that never once used its teeth on them. The Tambaqui. There's no bite here, no venom, no barb, and no bad decision. You buy it at a market, you cook it properly, and about 12 hours later, your urine turns black. The fish is completely normal. Something it ate is not, and nobody has managed to say what. Half disease is sudden muscle failure in somebody who ate fish in the previous day. An outbreak in Salvador between 2020 and 2021 produced 16 confirmed cases, 5 needing intensive care, and 1 death. Screening turned up fragments of palytoxin-like compounds, and that's where the trail stops. You eat dinner, within a day your own muscle tissue is dissolving into your bloodstream. Then your kidneys have to filter myoglobin, which they were never built to handle, and they clog. Whatever it is, it's heat stable, and the fish shows no symptoms because it picks the stuff up through its diet and doesn't care. The common version of this is that dangerous fish look dangerous. This one is farmed, sold cheap, and eaten by millions of people a week. Brazil has been tracking these outbreaks for over a decade and has never once confirmed which molecule is doing it. The fish that kill people in freshwater are rarely the ones built to look like they could. The freshwater pufferfish. The highest confirmed body count in this video belongs to something the size of your fist, sold by accident. Everybody has heard of Japanese fugu and the licensed chefs. Almost nobody has heard of the freshwater version in Bangladesh, which kills far more often. Between 1988 and 2008, 8 tetrodotoxin outbreaks there affected 247 people and killed 46, a fatality rate close to 1 in 5. Over 2 days in December of 2016, 7 people died in Sylhet district. The fish turns up mixed into cheap freshwater catch, sold to people with no idea it's in the bag. Tetrodotoxin plugs the sodium channels your nerves use to fire, so muscle instructions stop arriving, working inward until the diaphragm quits. There's no antidote. Gram for gram, it's more than 1,000 times more lethal than cyanide. The fatal dose for an adult is smaller than a grain of rice. One small fish carries many times that. Most people assume pufferfish poisoning is a Japanese restaurant problem, and in Bangladesh, it's a poverty problem, and the fish came out of a river. Its own sodium channels sit a few amino acids off, which is apparently the entire margin. It's the deadliest freshwater fish on the planet by body count, and it has never once attacked anybody. The Gulf Sturgeon. There's no wrong place to wade here, no wrong part to eat, and no animal to corner. There's a river, a boat, and an engine, and that's the whole list of requirements. Gulf sturgeon reach 8 feet and 200 pounds, and they leap more than 7 feet clear of the surface, over and over. A sturgeon has to surface and gulp air to refill its swim bladder, and that's the leading explanation. This body plan is about 200 million years old. It has been launching itself out of rivers since before flowering plants existed. It has shared one Florida river with outboard motors for 70 years, and nobody was consulted. On the Sewanee, strike injuries include fractured spines and collapsed lungs. In July of 2015, a 5-year-old girl named Jaylon Rippey was killed when a sturgeon leapt into her family's boat. Florida officials recorded it as the first sturgeon strike fatality there. She was on water narrow enough to see both banks the whole way, doing nothing at all except being there. Most people assume a fish that kills has to want to, and this one doesn't know boats exist. Every other fish in this video needs you to make a mistake. This one only needs you to be on the water at the wrong second. I post a new animal deep dive every week, so hit subscribe and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.